All right. So we are here really holding the space for this beautiful time together, this auspicious time. And there's been a lot of beauty and a lot of love. So we're here for the 8/8 Lionsgate, which here in New Hampshire, where I am, is only 4 more minutes till that Lionsgate portal completely is at its peak and is open. And so excited that we are coming together again for Sacred Connections. And I'm just going to open with sharing about the Lionsgate as it's moving into its highest energy. And then Julie's going to open our call, because in deep remembrance of the time that we all came together in Canberra, she's going to read the Still Waters meditation. So anyway, I'm just going to take a moment and really honor this this time together. And I'm just going to read something. And this is really a gift from someone who I'm very close to. Her name is Unity Grace, and is very active in what she's calling the Sophionic resonance, that resonance of the Mother of the Earth, that deep centrifugal force of love and sound that really holds this frequency of the unity field. So just going to read this as we're moving in. So this is the 8/8 Lionsgate, which provides the opportunity for us to step into the energy of the sacred lion portals to upgrade to higher levels of consciousness and creativity. At this time, we experience the rising of the Sophionic Harmonic within all life, where human consciousness and earth consciousness meet and merge back into the formless place, where particle and wave are one. We enter through the Lion's Gate and celebrate our successful completion on Earth of our journey through two-strand DNA, merging the waters of our bodies back into the subtle energy of creation itself, allowing source consciousness to imprint upon us a new directive of heaven and earth. Through the cymatics of sound, we gather our voices and sing together, allowing this new harmonic flow to flow through us in the songlines of the earth. We sing the heart song of Albion for all of creation, hand in hand. The whales and the dolphins are calling and asking all of humanity now to consciously participate, to sing the songlines awake. They are asking us to let go of our beliefs, let go and send the energy of love to the grids on our planet. The grids are like the meridians in our bodies. Feel into this unified field of love. When sending forth from our bodies our soul sound is the birthright for us to sing. Toning the sound goes deep within our bones, tissues, and into the earth. We feel it in the waters of all creation. We can now feel and think in terms of superabundance, going from source to manifestation, as we open to miracles upon miracles all about us. So yay, here we are, welcome. And so I'm just going to pass this crystalline, beautiful talking stick to Julie, who's in remembrance of the time we were all in Australia, in Canberra, doing that beautiful water blessing. She's going to open our call with still water.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see you all. And thank you for bringing the gathering together, Shelley. If you have some water, would you like to put a drop in your hand, please? Still Water Meditation by Caroline Way. The drop that you hold in your hand is part of the water which was the cradle of all life on this planet eons ago. The first rain that splashed down on the hot earth to form the first sea. Each drop in sunlight has risen from the sea in countless ages and fallen to the earth again as rain. The drop that you hold in your hand has been part of a prism forming myriad rainbows, has travelled underground streams, bubbling through dark caverns. The architect of cathedral caves formed valleys and split granite. The drop that you hold in your hand has flowed down broad rivers, has risen in the sap of trees, has been the sweat of slaves and the tears of children. It has become the foam-topped waves and deep, unimaginable depths of vast, dark lakes and seas. The drop that you hold in your hand has been part of great floods. It has been a dewdrop on a blade of grass, a drop that has been pounded through the hearts of whales in blood and lain in an eagle's egg. It has travelled in the fluid of poets' brain and dripped from the wounds of the dying. The drop that you hold in your hand has been trapped in the snows of the Arctic, reflected the sun in a desert oasis, and refreshed the weary. This drop, unimaginably old yet fresh and new, is evaporating slowly from your hand to mingle with the air you breathe, perhaps, or drift in a sun-topped cloud 1,000 feet above the earth. Imagine its journey from your hand. Where will it go? You can direct its journey as it evaporates. Send your consciousness with it. It is the water of life. It is still water.
I muted everyone except for myself. So, thank you. Oh my God. So this is just an open call to share our love, share our prayers, share our watersheds. Yeah, just happy to be together. And Kate just messaged and said she can't get on. She's been trying to get on and she can't get on. And I saw Elizabeth on, but I don't know where she went. So we just hold it for everyone. Tommy must be sleeping. So So popcorn, we can just share, and I think it would be really beautiful, even though we know where each other is, and even for the people that we know that aren't the call, if we know their watersheds, that it would be really beautiful. Hey, Elizabeth, to just share our watershed and honor the watersheds connecting as one water. I don't know. I just keep hearing that. Just, and if you know the Aboriginal or Indigenous name for your waters, we've been doing a lot through the consortium, and one of the things that has come up is really singing the water's name. So I can't say I know that here, but if you do, we'll just hold that in deep reverence for the ancestors, and welcome the ancestors and the ancient ones and the elementals and the earth divas and the winged ones and the four-leggeds and the two-leggeds here on this call. And we honor all relations in the water that connects us all. And so it is, I pass this beautiful crystalline talking stick and sound away. If you have a poem or prayer or something you want us to focus on, please just bring it into the circle. Yeah.
I have something. I've been travelling a lot over the last 12 months and to some very special waters. And I wanted to share, I hope everyone can see this, but these are from Cyprus. And I swam very close to Aphrodite's rock. Mm-hmm. And it was a very tough day. And there's a big story which I won't share. But anyway, this water was so amazing and clear. And I never take anything from a beach unless I feel it's been gifted. And I ended up with this very small accumulation of amazing different stones. And so I wanted to share that with you because these stones, for me, I collect stones often where I go places. And I was thinking of everybody a lot when I was in Cyprus because we often talk about the ancients and Cyprus being the place of gods and goddesses, particularly Aphrodite and her role on that island and her connection to the sea there. I was feeling very strong. So this is an offering of love from Aphrodite. So it's a small gesture. But I'd also like to send my thoughts to the waters in Larrakia country, which is not where I live. As you guys know, we live in Ngunnawal country. Larrakia country is the top end in Darwin. And I was there last week. It's where I grew up and it's my spiritual home. And the country up there is very dry at the moment, and I think there is a lot of suffering in the people, and there's some environmental challenges that they face as well as some social challenges. And I just wanted to share and for us to focus our love on that place because it's a beautiful wild country and it's a very special place. So I don't know the Aboriginal name for the rivers or the ocean itself, but it's the Larrakia Nation. Mm. So just put that one there. Thank you. And beautiful to see everyone. Mm. How are you, Sandy?
Yeah. Oh, Tracy, I'm good. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. Just letting everyone know that as I listen to Shirley and Julie, it is really powerful message that you put out there. To my understanding, that I understand the language English. Um, as my way out to the water is the language name is Ndung now. It means listen to the ocean, the water, ocean water. Ndungre means listen to the raindrops, and it's coming away or it's coming from the ocean. So it's Ndung now and Ndungre. So the project that I'm working on is Ndung Valley, which is the sound of the island. And these three things are really connected. And yeah, I'm looking forward for my festival to encourage the indigenous, the locals, and the villages in the islands to do respect the forest, that it attracts the rainfall on the island that can bring. I know that lots of the islands are like water from the creek to survive. So yeah, so water placing to me is a big thing for people to understand where it comes from, and it is from the beginning of this earth. So, and that's why I'm putting myself to listen carefully to the sound, and the sound is from the echo of the rain and the sea. So that's where we have to listen carefully to our Mother Earth. Yeah. So that's all I got to share with you, and it's just really, really blessed from Tracy, what you just shared before. Yeah, the rocks are really meaningful in our culture as well, where you collect the rocks from, and it's a connecting form of things that it forms from down deep up to the surface of the land. So yeah, it's really powerful and meaningful as well.
Wow.
How we give these names of the rocks. Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, lovely to see you all, and I think yeah, I just want to say in particular, Sandy, I feel really honoured that you're with us and that you come into the scans and what you've been through in the time since the scans. You know, it's like this is real. What the water, the effect of the water, the effect of climate, and yeah, I send my love and gratitude to you being with us, and thank you, and may there be healing, deep healing, and thank you for the work you do. So thank you to everyone, and I'm just very aware of what's happening in other places. So our water blessings continue on the smaller scale rather than anything large, but it's really good to just keep the rhythm up, and it's been really interesting to talk to people about the water blessings, and in a way to talk to more people who I normally wouldn't talk to about it. So just, you know, people I meet at groups or whatever, or, you know, gardening for bees workshops, and Sea Change is a group in Canberra, and they said, well, you know, there were 3,000 people at the Permaculture Festival. There are people, you know, in the community who are maybe a little bit different, or, you know, a bit to the left field and open to the water blessings. And that really, I feel that the work with the bees, I'm working very much more with young people, that it's the young people at ANU, the students who are coming, and we had this amazing sharing about the spiritual in Pachamama, and I feel like there are things opening up for the younger generation, which is who I really try and reach, and I feel like this is calling me. So how it works, and you know, the the water has been just this everyday focus on the water for myself, but and the monthly focus, but it hasn't been an important part of my life, except that I honour the water wherever I can. And I'm going on this big journey to the UK, to sacred sites, and the water is very much a part of this journey. And so I feel like this reconnection with sacred sites and water and place is like almost a connection of the water within me with places on the earth. So I carry in myself the water, and wherever I go, I connect with the water in those places. So to have that sense of we are water moving around, as well as the great oceans and the rain, and I think for me the what was really amazing has been just so dry. It is so dry here. It's like the driest winter ever. It's the driest year ever. I mean, we really have only in the last couple of days had 13 mils or something, and it's just like, it was just such a blessing. And to just say, thank you, water, thank you for coming, and to really encourage talk when people have those conversations in Canberra. Isn't it a lovely day and it's sunny, and you say, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful to have rain? The trees are so dry, and to change the conversations in our everyday life of water, because we've got this funny thing about going out in the rain is uncomfortable. So it's really quite yeah, it's okay, it rains, but I want it to stop so I can go and do something out in the bush. You think, well, actually, yeah, enjoy the rain. So I stood on the mountain the other day in this sacred place, Shelley, that we went to in the circle, the stone circle, and the rain was coming in icy. It was snowing on the Alps. It was just so cold. It was so freezing, and it was so wonderful just to really celebrate these dark, big clouds, and just that the majesty of that change of clear sky in one place, incredible clouds and water falling, and the land responding. You know, the moss coming back to being green, and you know, the day after, little tiny shoots of green in the grass, and to see the landscape just soaking it up with, oh, we can live again. Yeah. So that's me, and it's lovely to make this reconnect with others. Thank you.
If I could just share one, I just want to follow that thread because there was something really beautiful that I learned from Barry Brailsford in New Zealand. And I'm just gonna, what I've been doing, just so you know, is I'm putting everyone on mute unless you do it yourself. When someone's talking, then it holds the frame. But so when I was at Castle Hill, this amazing place, a place of sacred knowledge, and where the Waitaha would come, 3,000 people at a time to really learn the star language and the star knowledge. And so before you can enter the space, you walk up, but as soon as you hit the stream, you have to stop and give a karakia or a prayer. And most of us do have that here, at least have that reverence, but this is something that it was so simple. And I remember we did it with Julie when I went that place that Julie's describing. When I got taken there was a lot of apprehension about entering the space, and I just remember just like saying, well, let me show you something. And so if you're carrying water, and if you don't have any water, use your spit, but basically just putting your waters in your hand and making that connection with the first stone. It could be a giant being, or it could be the tiniest stone, but making that connection and letting it know who you be and what's your intention. And there's so much grace in the stone's response, and giving that, here a lot, we've always talked about, oh, you got to get permission, but what I've experienced with this understanding is that when we make that connection with the water of our being and the water of our heart's intention, and we connect with that stone being, it opens the way. And I remember with Julie and oh my God, I'm forgetting your husband's name all of a sudden. Quick, Matt. Okay, sorry. Okay, senior moment. So, and it was just like it was just like there was you could actually feel the air change, right? You could feel the wind change. And so just holding that out for all beings to just really know how simple it is to really come back to that sacred relationship of water and stone. And so I don't know, I just wanted to share that. I'll open it up and I'll share more about my watershed and what's happening for me in a minute. I don't know. Elizabeth, you want to jump? Okay.
Jumping in to the pool. Yeah, just real great gratitude to gather with you all here today. It's wonderful to see you again, Julie. It's wonderful. I think I've gazed on your beautiful face, Tracy and Samson. It's wonderful to meet you. I live in Northern California, and we are on fire. And there's still articles coming out saying that this is not caused by climate change. 310,000 acres have burned in one fire alone. Thousands of homes. Another is 150,000 up in Redding. And I would like this gathering, because of its strong, powerful, pure intention to honor all life in these areas that are burning, and ask the Mother to bless us. I love what you're saying about the rain. How is it that a rainy day is a bad thing? It is water blessing us when it rains. And we go out and dance in our source of life. So I call her to these places that are hot and dry and burning, and ask her to bless us with her presence. And all the other places that are dry, denuded of water, that she spread her brilliant, sparkling light and drops of rain on us. There's only one water, and she hears our prayers. And she is so joyful to hear those prayers. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote years ago, and it's continually been evolving. It's called Our Pool of Dreams. And it speaks of how, not just how we are connected through water, but how we can connect through water, how we can intentionally connect with people on far off islands and continents and right next door. Dear water friend, do you remember the fleeting moment, barely caught, tightly spanned between asleep and awake? Just before we've forgotten ourselves deep into sleep, as one fluid heart in a moment, beating as one, when we may glimpse the expansive potentiality, as we may glimpse the expansive realms of our unlimited potentiality, when as our thoughts thicken, they liquiesce into opalescent pools and are remembered thus as dreams. As the silvery beads of mercurial water memories puddle across the stretched taut flames of our dimming consciousness as shimmering reflections, mirrors to our own self. Come, can you recall kneeling instinctually on one beautiful mossy edge of one especially brilliant indigo pool, laced through and through with a glowing filigree of violet and gold light, where as you peer into the water gathered, you see the luminous diffraction of your own face, an image of reverberant vibrational song, ever ringing, ever-changing rings of frequency resonating outward towards the shores, wise, vibrant, scattered, and alive. It is you, melting. And yet, the eyes you gaze upon here are as steady as your heartbeat, still, unwavering. They embrace all of us as your own other, kissing you as a cherished sacrament lost and now found. Do you remember? Then remember me, for I am the one light, holding you all in this perfect vision, eyes peering through the portals, pools of our own souls, beholding you, beholding me, holding all. I am crouched like a wild one, laughing joyously on the other side of the thin and thinning veil, peering from the raised edges of your own mossy deep pool of dreams. As our own small child's finger touches gently upon the radiant reflection of self, moistly caressing your face, transposed upon mine, we each reach past the gossamer veil, this false delusion of separation, to shed a drop of the dream upon our tongues like a golden tear. Taste this sweetness of moisture source now, and remember us as thus. For clearly it is in this pure peace of unborn possibilities we shall forever be, remembering ourselves, living together as one water's love. Understanding that there is no separation between the one water on earth and ourselves.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Sandy if he can show us the ocean, please. Can you show? Yeah, there, I can see it. Thank you. It's quite amazing.
It looks warm.
Oh,
yeah.
so beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's lovely where you are. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
thank you.
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
That was, I hope you can send it to us so we can put it in the email when I send this out, because it was really exquisite and
Very evocative.
very evocative.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And I think for me, the ocean, it was like the ocean and you speaking, where I kept on getting little glimpses of it.
Wow. Wow. I want to read into the field because Kate has just sent me something. So I just want to bring her energy into this circle. She already is anyway. But so this is what Kate said. I prayed with you through the 11:11. So that was tonight when we first started. When it was 5:11 here, it was 11:11 there, and 7:11 in Australia. I mean, it's so cool. You're like, woo. Feel a deep calm of connection, wondering if we will get to meet on the islands, perhaps in workshops close to Torba Day, and deeply asking how to bring about the immersive recordings of Ambai, praying for what's needed to arise. I will be back in Berkeley from the 20th of August plus and have a reliable internet. So much love. hold on. I feel this is the creativity to share, but it feels like it needs me to speak to it. I'll keep going with working on the language until it's clear. As Tommy told me, it needs to read like a poem. So I have to click on this link. I don't know exactly where that's what's going to happen here. No, it doesn't want to. Oh, there it goes. So I think rather I think I'll just send this in the email so everybody has it with the replay. Yeah, that looks very long.
Is she talking about Berkeley, California?
Yeah, she is. So I don't know what's up with that, but
What are those dates again?
August 20th. August 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to show this. This is, I just want to speak to the headwaters here and the work that's being done on the waters here. And so I'm holding this stone that was taken at the headwaters that actually will belong to Elizabeth when I see her. Oops, she just said. Okay, I'll read at the end. I'll read what Kate just said. She's like sending these messages. So I feel really blessed because I've been gifted this summer to really come into the power of place and a sacred space within myself, like it's been talked about, come into these deeper waters. And I've been brought back to being in the woods and right by the Saco River here, which is really the source water for the movie that Elizabeth and I have been working on for about 2.5 years. And in being brought back here was gifted a home completely out of left field to do the work, to do the writing. And this other piece of writing, which I just want to share into the field because I'm writing a dowsing book, and I thought it was simply, oh, I'm just going to take the manual that I wrote and I'll just make it into a book. So simple. Well, no, because what has unfolded is this journey of the first trip I took to Australia and the unfolding of this promise of love, really the expose of the Cathar in my life and the way of love and how it moves us into everything that we're doing. And it is the connection with the water, with our inner waters. And so it's been a month so far of just like being completely humbled in so many ways, the reverence going deeper. And the way that it started was I'm in the Saco River watershed, and that's where the movie, so I'm going to flip a little bit. So the movie is really been guided and governed by an indigenous woman who was the healer in the 1700s. And this land and the Saco River is where she was born and was her watershed. So Charlie Riverman and I went up the day that I got here. We didn't take any time. We just woke up the next morning at 5 a.m. and went up to the Saco River headwaters. And I just sang this into the field for honoring these waters, which go out to the sea. And so many of us know that so many headwaters are now dammed and the water doesn't fully reach the sea. And this takes me back to that time in Australia when, I don't know his name, when that beautiful indigenous Aboriginal man stood up and he told the story of his understanding of the waters, the Earth Mother's waters in relationship to our body. And he was talking about the Murray-Darling River and how it was the bowels of the river weren't being able to go and flow back out. So I feel like this is really important for everyone to begin to wake up. There's another Indigenous woman who every summer has walked the waters of Maine and Connecticut this summer and carried the headwater water all the way down to the sea, giving it its remembrance of its connection to the water without touching any of these dams. And so on Saturday, Charlie Riverman and we collected these waters, and we're going to take those waters and go all the way to Maine to the opening to the mouth of the Saco River, and carry this frequency of the indigenous people who so beautifully held such a deep honoring of the water and the fish, and the salmon, to hold that memory. And I think people around the world are going to start to do this more and more, carry the waters so that it's imprinted. So just wanted to share that story because I feel like it's something that it's part of the waking up, and singing, so much of us singing to the waters. And and that for me has really brought about a deeper compassion for my fellow brothers and sisters. Really, something's really changing just being in the woods, and family of origin. Even if we might not be getting along with them, I just want to bring that in as well, that I see it's just if we can simply hold our resonance in love, walking that way of love, choosing to walk from our joy, the water starts to shift in another human being. And I'm seeing that so much with my brother, and my mother and my father, if we can just trust. So I feel like this walking through this gate, this lion's gate, is a portal of deepening and letting go and surrender and trusting who we be, and to really listen to that soul voice that's speaking through us. So thank you so much for letting me speak. I'm so happy to be with you all, and everyone, Tommy and Kate and Charlotte, holding you in this field with us. So I'm complete. I'm unmuting you all. Hold on. Okay. Oh, Julie, you have to unmute yourself because I think you did. And
oh, okay. I just want to tell you about a friend who, Leanne Power. She's in the Netherlands, and she's got a project called Drinkable Rivers. And if you just look up Drinkable Rivers Indicators for Healthy Living, she actually walked the river in the Netherlands through to France, through Belgium, through to France. And she actually works at a university. She does a lot of outdoor connections, and she's been doing films as well. So it's really looking at how rivers have changed from being drinkable to non-drinkable and turning it round and raising through her walking. I mean, it took months, and she had groups of young people walking with her. So it was really a sacred pilgrimage and connection. And she's quite amazing. She speaks about the way she walks, and it was actually really interesting to when she walks in bare feet, she's learning to orientate herself. So to feel the north, the poles, the magnetic poles. So learning her body to reconnect with what we get through walking in our bare feet, connecting with the earth energy. I mean, Sandy, that would be something that you do all the time, but most of us are in, rubber-soled shoes, and we're not walking around in bare feet, and we've lost this connection. And some people say this is probably the biggest thing that actually broke our connection with the earth, because we could no longer feel her energy. So just this really simple thing of taking our shoes off and reconnecting and feeling the vitality that comes from the earth, the energy, and then learning to discern the different energies. And so yes, there's obviously lots of people doing all sorts of things. And what was really beautiful was, I just want to tell you, we met with a woman, Anna Rose, who was this amazing activist. She has been founding member of Get Up, Australian Youth Climate Change, Youth Coalition, and also Farmers for Climate Action. And she said before a meeting, they actually stop, this person did before a meeting, and they actually go through the list of people, organisations that are working for what your meeting's about. So you link in all those different organisations worldwide who are working for the water. So it's just a real thing of, we are a collection. We're not ourselves. We are this network of people who are focusing on this particular issue. And I thought that, I mean, basically the guy said we could actually be here for 2 days, but it was, but, you know, you can have just, these are the people I know, these are the people, it's just that lovely sense of, we are a global community of, and more people are joining it. Just, might be something to bring into our and you know, again, those, when we do the water blessings, let's just again connect in with our global community of, you know, Sandy's doing a water blessing, Elizabeth and Shelley are doing one somewhere, and again, obviously we've been apologise, we've been a bit cut off from the Loving Waters water blessings, but they have still been going on. And thank you.
I'd just like to reflect on the walking that you're talking about, the project. Julie, it sounds wonderful. And Cyprus, the small group I was with, it was a walking residency, and there was so many resonances in the conversations that happened there. I felt like I was channeling all of you. And one of the things that came through was a lot of talk about earth energies and copper and conductivity and dowsing. And though I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because it was a really, it was unexpected, because it was the group, I really didn't know what to expect, but I had some quite profound conversations, especially around magnetic fields and earth energies. And I really have this, and thank you, Shelley, for, you know, you create a real picture of this portal for me, and I do completely agree that it's an opening, and at the same time it's a yielding and accepting. And I think that once we start to do that, then our communities comes towards us. And that's the feeling that I get. The more I'm feeling at home with this, the more that it's manifesting at the same time. And it's a growing confidence that there is this love for the waters and for our Great Mother that, you know, hopefully will guide us through, because we really need that right now. And especially Elizabeth, thinking about the fires over there. And Julie would know, you know, we live in a bushfire place here. And watching on the news, Sweden and Greece and the Pacific California burn is really, you know, quite terrifying. And we really, I guess, for me, it's really sort of having those prayers and intention to try and find a balance, because we're at a point now where we have to adapt to climate change. We've gone past this idea of mitigation, I think, and now it's how do we now live in our world that it's a drier place and a harder place. How do we stop ourselves from becoming the same? I guess. Thank you.
Love.
Yeah.
Shelley shared something with me the other day, which sort of is a different concept. You know, it's just like the idea of a water blessing is really us coming to a place of remembrance to be able to receive the water blessing from the water. On the flip side, water is like, we have consciousness because we're water. And is it that we are carrying the expression of consciousness for the water? Yeah. And that the water needs us to remember, for her to remember who she is. Yep. And that's really our mission. is to loving in full love, full consciousness, as much awareness as we can bring to it. Love ourselves, love the water, so she can remember herself. And remember, she needs to come to the land and bless the land, that we care for her, that we recognize her, that we value her, that we are grateful for her, that the land's not turning away from her, that we're, because it must be a not really frightening, but there's a threat to come to land, because those of us living on land don't value her, don't treat her well, don't treat her right. That's a new thought. I never thought of that before. Wow. And so how do we just fill our being with love to be an inviting place for water to enter and be part and parcel? You know, like you think of substances that you put a drop of water on and it repels it, right? How do we become the drop of water that falls on us is fully absorbed and embraced in gratitude?
Beautiful.
And it's by releasing the fear, releasing the hate, releasing the delusion of separation. Wow.
So, Sandy, do you want to jump in for a second, or?
Yeah, just dealing with water, and like I said, my work is just try to educated people to understand the value of culture and related to water. And as I think this water music, it's a storytelling through the water, which is when the ladies are performing in the sea water, the ocean, it transforms, it tells a message, it sends the message through the nature, all right? When you perform this in the lake or in a freshwater lake or river, it's like giving a big sound, or the drumming that it's in the water, it just like pump out from the water and just spread into the nature. And the sound that travels, it reflects, or it travels the message to weave to the nature. And that's why for human, we are the connection between the two nature, water, like fresh water and sea water. And this is really important for us, for our cultural heritage, is we have to do respect the rocks, because when we have the rock, we cook with the hot rock, it transforms into the food, it produces the moisture, it puts that sauce into the food, we eat, and that's where it sounds, where's the water. So we live on islands where some are really low on fresh water, but when we look at the ocean, there's always water on land. So that's the two main things that are really in my work, that I'm trying to educate people to understand the value of culture and the meaning of the language of rocks, sand, dirt like ground, and grasses and crops. Like everything is really meaningful for us. And the only two things that change this Mother Earth is like the sea, water is the connection to our nation, to our all, everything that we can have. And that's really important for me to understand this. So I was with Tom on the island to do the recording of the Dungberry project, and I come across a storytelling from an island where our ancestors used to sit out really quiet and listen to this noise of the drop of the water from the rain, and also listen to the sound of the sea. And that's where it transforms the song, the creatures that we have to live on, and the storytelling becomes today where we are, that we learn to understand how important the water is to us. So water is really something that it can be something that we walk on, we stayed on, and it always left behind something that we have to survive on. So yeah, I would say thank you so much for listening to every one of you. And it is really meaningful, and it's helping me a lot with what I'm doing. And Kate just mentioned that before, it would be good to meet on the island. on the Ndung Valley Festival, that's the one I'm trying to organize and put together, because we have to really listen to our environment, the nature that has been there for us to listen to. So that's where I'm going, and I'm just going to let you guys know that I'm a bit low on my battery and I'm on my phone. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, what you just said before, and everything that you guys said is really, really meaningful. And we got lots of this to give back to you in form of, like Tracy said about, mentioned about the rock. And Shelley, you all have some crystal rock and all this. It's all reflecting our stories. And I can go that far, but thank you so much for this morning. What a blessing, unity that we have.
So since your battery's low, I think this is a good time for us to reap this beautiful harvest, and just take a moment, and then I'm going to close with this Waitaha water prayer. So I would just like to invite us to bring in anything, like for me, the orca story, Tahlequah and the baby that just died, and the grief. She was carrying this baby on her nose. So the orcas are starving and there's an issue. And Ambai, the people who have been relocated again, and Florida, the red tide that's happening in the Gulf. And I'm sure each one of us can bring in the fires, which have been brought up tonight. So let's just take a moment in silence before I read this, and just invite that consciousness of love and of the deepest heart to go out around the planet through this beautiful web of light to all these places and animals and people that are being affected. We bring them into this circle. So, yeah. Just feeling into that peace and harmony, just moving through the grid. And I'll read this poem, and then we can just end with water, we love you. Water, we thank you. Water, we respect you. And I'm just going to change the word my to us, because I think it's important. Let our spirit, our deep mind travel to the spaces in between the water patterns. Let our heartbeat echo the tinkle and bell sounds of the water deep inside our body. Let us hear the memories of the gods and goddesses. Let us hear the memories of the angels and the ancestors. Let us send our voice into every atom of water that is in us. Water that is in front of us, behind us, around us, and above us. Let all the forms of water hear our resonance in this time and forever carry our blessings and wishes to the highest mountains and to the heavens. Then let all the living and the dying creatures and humans hear the sounds of the joy of creation resonating in every sentient form in this universe and others, to be the sound that sings forever and eternal in the mind song of creation. So we can all just either take ourselves off mute or say it to yourself, but water, we love you. Water, we thank you. Water, we respect you. Water, we love you. Water, we thank you. Water, we respect you. Water, we love you. Water, we thank you. Water, we respect you. And I like to end with one more, which is water, we are you.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah, what the hell?
Wonderful.
So
Love
nice
you.
to connect.
Now I want to
Much
know
love.
when the festival is of Sandy's.
Right, Sandy.
Yes, the festival is going to be, because it's a Torba Day. It's the 2nd of October. It's a Torba Day. Just before that, because it's going to go for 3 days. So I'm putting like the 2nd of October is the final day.
Excellent.
So I'll message.
We'll be messages.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll message you with the program. Yes.
We'll
Yep.
be there in spirit.
Yes.
Yes, right. I was hoping
Yes.
you were going to say it was mid-December.
Well, it can
Around-
happen anytime. Yeah. Yeah. All
Love
right.
you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you all. Thank you. Yeah.
We
Bye
made it.
bye.
We made it through the portal. Woohoo!
We did.
Yeah.
Let's dive.